A gladiator was a combatant, an armed combatant who was fighting to entertain the people of Rome. A centurion, on the other hand, was a professional officer of the Roman army after the Marian reforms. And now that we know specifically what they were, it is important to understand that when we compare them, and particularly when we put one against the other, it's not that easy to give a quick answer and say, oh, a gladiator could just take on any centurion and vice versa. But why is that? Hello number ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and today we're going to talk about ancient Rome again, one of my favorite topics to be honest, and I believe one of yours as well. See, in recent popular games such as For Honor, we see this very idea, the concept of there might be a gladiator and there might be a centurion and they might face one another. So the question comes up, who would win? Would a centurion with his expertise and experience in battle destroy completely a gladiator? Or would a gladiator who is really well trained and he has got a lot of actual combat experience with his physique and with his stamina, could he completely destroy and wipe the floor with a centurion? Well, the reason why this question is not easy to answer is because much would depend on what situation we would put these two fighters in. For example, to have a better idea, in other words, they are very good at doing their own thing, but they might not be good at doing what the other persons know. In other words, they are very good, specialized professionals at doing their own things, if you will, but they might not perform well if expected to do the things that the other class knows how to do well. So to better understand what we are really doing when we are comparing these two forms of ancient Roman combatants, it's as if you were to say, would an MMA fighter win against a professional Marine, a US Marine? Okay, this is what we are talking about. So again, just like in this situation, if you take a Marine and you take off everything, his entire equipment, and just put him in a ring with an MMA fighter, then my money's on the MMA guy. Okay, he's trained, he knows how to fight, he knows all the tricks, he knows his body is maximized, optimized for hand-to-hand combat. He knows all the moves, he hits well, his body's used to being hit constantly. So the Marine, he might be an excellent soldier, but in that situation, both having to fight according to, of course, MMA rules, if you will, then yes, the Marine won't stand a chance against an MMA fighter. On the other hand, though, if you take an MMA fighter, you're giving a shotgun and you put him in a forest, for example, and tell him, if you see the Marine, kill him before he kills you, then sorry mate, but I think you're done for it, because the Marine is trained, he knows how to find you, he knows how to make sure you don't find him first, he probably knows how to scout territory very well, and I don't think MMA fighters know how to do that. And also he's very familiar with the sort of equipment he has got to do that. So even if we gave the exact same equipment, soldier's equipment, to an MMA fighter, the same rifle, but again, context plays such a crucial role here. For instance, what if, for whatever reason, the MMA fighter manages to trick the Marine in a situation where the Marine wasn't expecting the guy, and he goes behind him and he actually, managed to strangle him, and then, of course, yeah, probably the MMA fighter will win. But will the Marine really allow him to do that? You see, there is a lot of variables, and that is the exact same thing with Roman centurions and Roman gladiators. And now the only difference being the fact that both use gladi. So yes, we could say that basically a gladiator is an MMA fighter who knows how to shoot, if we really want to make this comparison online. Okay. But the fact that you know how to use a weapon in one-to-one combat doesn't mean that you know how to behave in pitched battle. Okay, so again, if you take a Roman centurion and you put him in the arena and you say, fight this professional gladiator who has won 57 matches on a row, sorry mate, he's doomed, okay? But if you take the gladiator and you put him in the midst of battle, okay? So let's say you have, and these things happened as well, so it's interesting to see that. But for example, Spartacus, the rebellions of Spartacus and all that, we know how that ended. So if you take just a bunch of gladiators and you have them fight against a unit of legionaries and with their own centurion commanding them, they stand no chance. They most likely stand no chance because the centurion and the legionaries are professionals. They know how to use terrain to their advantage. They know when to retreat. They have discipline, and discipline is incredibly important in battle. Sorry, I'm getting heated, but I like this topic. And gladiators, they are disciplined in their own way because, you know, harsh training and whatnot. But understanding commands, understanding military discipline is a different thing. And if there are veterans out there, you know what I'm talking about, than just the discipline linked to martial training. They are two different things. So the experience as well. Most gladiators, unless they were ex-soldiers on their own, which also happens, so we'll take that into consideration too in the third part of this video. But if they were not ex-soldiers, and as I said in my latest video, and as I said in another video, many gladiators were volunteers, particularly in imperial times. We have people who have no experience whatsoever with battle. Okay, so even if you have a gladiator who has experience with battle because he's an ex-soldier, still Roman military discipline was superior to all. So in other words, even if he was a former Gaul, for example, the Roman centurion will most likely be a better soldier because of his superior training, and most importantly, the fact that he will have more experience in battle. An ex-soldier who becomes a gladiator might be someone who has just fought a couple of times. A centurion is a professional soldier, is someone who does it every day for like over 20 years, depending on what period of Rome we're talking about. So it's completely different. So my final verdict of such concept of gladiators versus centurion is it would really depend. If you take into consideration battle, because For Honor is interesting. For Honor is almost a battle if you think about it. I mean, so my final verdict, also sort of linking myself again to the game For Honor, because I know many of you actually play video games. If we talk about duels, then the gladiators should win. But if we talk about Dominion mode, which is more similar to an actual battle, then I think the centurion would be a much better fighter in those situations. Alright, but I hope that you enjoyed this video, that you find it entertaining. If you did, please remember thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content from the Metatron. I hope to see you tomorrow for my next daily upload. And remember, the Metatron has spread his wings. Valete! A Centurion!